Today we're here at Pleasant Valley Park in Murrysville, PA, and we're going to be hiking Hank's Trail. It's about 1.5 miles. It's pretty hot out today. It's like 80 something. Real feels probably like 85, 87. But yeah, we're out here. Going to give this trail a hike and see what it's all about. Interesting note before we get going, I was having problems getting my water bottle open, and you can see the cap is incredibly beat up. It looks like it was chewed on. What I actually ended up having to do was use my jumper cables to grip onto this thing and torque it. For some reason the cap was like melted on or something like that. But anyways, water's open and we're able to hike, so that's exciting. Got a bike repair stand here. Looks like there's some folks that do mountain biking. And got some road ties over here, some bees around those road ties, so I'm gonna steer clear of that pile. There is what looks like a little stone kind of shelter right at the start of this trail. Maybe we'll find that on the way back. If not, we'll come and look before we go. But yeah, let's go up to the sign here. A squirrel down in here. There he goes. Park map said it had 2 ponds, quote-unquote ponds. Looks like they're pretty dry right now, but there's where the water comes out, and there's the lower pond. And then the upper pond's almost completely dried up, but this is where the upper pond would be. But you can see it's pretty much just completely dried up there. Just getting started on this trail and already have some very nice looking views. Got a nice field right here. Field is full of these little yellow looking flowers. And up here, I believe there's a wasp nest. Oh yeah, or a hornet nest. I'll try and zoom in on it. Back on this tree right here, right there you can see is like a wasp or hornet nest. Let me turn the camera around and zoom in on this. Right ahead of us here, you can see we have a hornet nest or a wasp nest hanging from that tree. I am not gonna get much closer than this. I'm zoomed in, but you can see it hanging there. That is a big one. We haven't seen a nest like this since the Ann Saxman Park, nature park. So that was my second video ever, so it's been over a month. That's a big wasp nest back in there. Getting one more view of the nest before we continue on. All right, that's enough for me. This trail actually has signs, so it's pretty obvious if I'm actually on the trail, which is a nice change of pace from previous trails. See, this is a beautiful meadow. Got some Queen Anne's lace down here. This is a beautiful trail. This might be the first video recording of this. I'll have to check YouTube and see if I can find any other recordings. You can see it's just a whole field of this yellow flower here. It's beautiful. And what a day for this. I guess the only downfall to today is I have a pretty bad headache, so if I'm not quite as talkative, that's why. But still wanted to get out here and do some filming. Thankfully that water bottle opened. That was gonna be a big hindrance. If there was no water, there was no hike, so glad that opened. Looks like we're heading out of the meadow and back into a forest area here. Be sure these are invasive, but I love the pink stems on these plants. Don't know what they are, but again, I think they're some type of invasive plant. I'll have to look it up. Definitely in a more woodsy area now. Looks like we're starting to get our first little hill here. check out these vines. They look so amazing. Yeah, there's another sign up here. I love the fact that this park has signs. So this is, again, this is Pleasant Valley Park, Murrysville, PA. I'd say before, very specifically today, we're doing Hank's Trail. This park has multiple trails, but yeah, what's called Hank's Trail today. This is nice for a change. So you can see the trails are clearly marked. Hank's Trail, Red Maple Trail's up that way. We'll have to come back and do Red Maple another day. Like I say, with the headache, I'm just gonna stick with the smaller trail today. Got some more crazy vines growing here. Lots of mushrooms on this tree here. I love the fact that this thing has trail markers. I cannot say that enough. Here's some of that plant with the pink stem close up, some of the berries on it. Quite a few jagger bushes around here, so you gotta watch you don't get snagged on those. First red leaf of the season that I've seen. Got a sign here about the sumac. Little bridge here. That's nice. Looks like we're back in another field. These fields are just something to look at. All right, we got a couple trails here. What's this? I don't know where that goes, but this is Hank's Trail, so on we go. Looks like we're walking through a ton of Queen Anne's lace here. It's the nice view of the mountain down there. Oh, look at that. It's like a dead tree with vines growing the whole way up. That's pretty wild. All right, back into the woods. Ooh, looks like there's all kinds of good trails. Hemlock Trail was there, but we're sticking on Hank's Trail. So all kinds of good trails that we'll have to come out and explore. The way this vine is twisted around itself. Looks like a Twizzler. A lot of bees on this trail today. Whew, got me spooked a bit. Oh, it's you. One of the people was trying to help me with the water bottle earlier, just passed me on the mountain bike, and it scared the heck out of me because I didn't even hear him coming. Zooming in so you can see the bee action up here. You see all these things flying around. There's a ton of bees in this particular field, and I have to go past it, and I'm going through this field of bees. I'm not going to be filming around unless it's like a beautiful view or something. I'll try and get it, but yeah, my irrational fear of bees and this particular instance don't mix, but here we go. All right, we made it. Self-talk, made it through. Good deal. Continuing on. Now, you might think, how can you film the paper wasp nest at the beginning of this and be fine, and then not film, and then be scared of filming that back there? Well, the paper wasps weren't flying up all around me. They were just hanging out by their nest. That field, you could see the bees were zipping all over the place, so a little bit different. You can see we kind of moved on from the fields, and we're back in a really nice woodsy section here. Oh, this one's interesting. This is called the Cheeky Chipmunk Trail. Now, if all these are pretty short trails, we'll have to come back and explore these another day when I don't have this headache. But yeah, for now, Hanks Trail. It appears we're about halfway around the trail. I feel like we're starting to turn back towards the beginning of it. Just lots of woods back in here. Nothing, no particular good plants. Oh, there's some nice green going on with the sunlight hitting it. That's pretty. Remind me a little bit of like a rainforest almost here. Got like some canopy trees going on or something. Pretty cool. And then right up ahead here, the trees get incredibly tall. It's kind of hard to show the height of these, but they're just massive in height. Honestly, these trails look like they might be nice to try. My first off-road biking experience. Maybe try that. You can see it's a little rocky back there, but I'm thinking there's nothing too crazy. So something like my hybrid bike that I have, not really meant for like super trails, but would definitely be okay for something like this. I think just like a not quite gravel, but also not like a really heavy mountainous trail either. Got a little river here, dried up one. When it rains, it must flow down through here. Got a bench dedication. Susan Garentz. Got our first split with no signage, so gotta consult the map. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but there's like the side of a kind of a hill right there. And then on the ground here, a ton of dead leaves. Now these aren't dead trees. There's a lot of green above us, so I don't know if these are just still decomposing from last year or what. And you gotta see these vines. There's just a ton of vines up in this tree. That is a wild looking tree. Got another sign here. This one's the tulip tree. I guess this is it. This spot actually offers a pretty nice view of this woodsy area as a whole, so gonna pan the camera around here. We're over halfway through. Feeling a little weird with this headache, but you know, over halfway, might as well keep going now. It'd be more time, take more time to even go back. Check out this bridge. It must, maybe this is for bikers, this chain, and for hikers, maybe when it gets wet or in the winter time, maybe they had people fall here. So there's like a chain almost on this. There's that little river area that's eroded but dried up. And again, if you have a headache, I don't recommend going out hiking. I just picked a trail that I knew was pretty short, 1.5 miles. And, well, 1.5 miles is pretty long, but the elevation gain said like 140 feet total. So that's not too bad at all, really. So it's kind of like just a walk, normal walk. And the trail, this particular trail, if I can show it to you, yeah, it's a pretty nice trail. It's not overgrown or super rocky or anything, so just like a nice little walk in the woods. Been a really nice trail so far. Really loving all the different views, the meadows and the forest area. Looks like we're coming up on a trail sign again. Make sure we're on the right track. Let us see. Yep, Hank's Trail. Up here, there's some beautiful yellow flowers. Let's take a look at these. These look a little different than the ones we saw earlier. Down in there, you can kind of see the meadow area. There's just a whole field of these yellow flowers the whole way up here. Oh, okay. Now we've hit uphill. I spoke about a nice walk in the woods too soon. This is quite a hill here, so we'll see. Maybe it doesn't go the whole way up here. Oh good, it turns. Yeah, that goes up in there the whole way, all those yellow flowers. Hank's Trail. Looks like this is a very well-maintained trail. Again, might be a nice first attempt at like a mountain bike trail. Small hills, good to test out the gears and that kind of thing. So might have to come back to this particular trail. This back section here definitely has more ups and downs than the first section. The first section was relatively flat, and now we're just getting into some ups and downs and ups and downs, which honestly is probably good for me anyways, so glad we're here. So check out this brush. It doesn't look too thick until you realize the top of it's right here. I'll turn the camera around so you can kind of see. It's not very tall and it's very thick. So here's the brush I was just showing you. You can see the top of it right here. It's like a canopy. And then back in there, like if you're, I don't know if a deer, but smaller animals, it's like a nice little trail and path area for smaller animals. But for me, I'd be hitting my head off everything. Just a beautiful trail. Gotta get this sunlight through these leaves. What a view. If you look really close right there, you can see there's a mountain kind of in the distance there, like a hill, and that's the top of it. Valley there, and we're kind of on the one side of it, and that mountain range is on the other side. Cannot get enough of how green everything is here. This is a novelty tree. It kind of grows out and then up. So I don't know if that will affect it as it gets older and larger, or if the bottom of the tree will continue to grow and that'll be okay growing like that. Be interesting to come back and see sometime. Don't think I've done any leaf close-ups, but you don't realize just how patterned these leaves are until you get right up on them and you can see all the detail. This tree's got some going on here. Is it sap? I don't know. What is that? I guess it's tree sap of some sort. Let's check out this one. If you know what that is, feel free to drop that in the comments. I'm not so sure. So that tree was definitely not maple. That's all I know for sure. The leaves were definitely not maple leaves. But yeah, if you know what kind of tree that is, drop that in the comments down below. It's not weird, but it smells like someone passed gas around here. It smells like someone farted. Not sure what that's about. Just gonna keep an eye out for a minute. Definitely got some crickets back in there. Some more nice vines here. It's like you got a tiny bit of graffiti there and somebody put a mushroom sticker. Ooh, we got a nice view of the woods from here. Really get some distance and we can see out there further. And these are some kind of skinny tall trees around here. Got another tree sign here. This is the Eastern White Pine. And it looks like its branches are pretty much lost, but way up there, you can see it's a pine. Hanks Trail. It's actually slightly longer than I thought. I forgot how far a mile and a half was. I should have thought about that before walking it with a headache, but that's okay. I think we're almost back, a little bit further. So yeah, if you're not feeling great, you know, maybe it's not ideal to come out into a hiking path by yourself with a headache. But thankfully this one is not as bad as the other mile and a halfers we've done in the past. So we have that going for us. Running through there where it's bright green, you can see the meadow area. Look at the sunlight coming through these trees. You know, we got some squirrels up in these trees. I've seen 2 or 3 now. I just about got pelted by what I think was an acorn. So we keep an eye out for those squirrels. Another split back there. Had to confirm that we're on the right path. I think that might have been a shortcut back to the entrance, but yeah, unless I'm feeling really sick, around here I don't do shortcuts. I'd like to see the whole trail, so onward. Got an older sign here for the black oak tree. And this is actually a pretty wide tree. Pretty large. Still on the trail. Down in there, I don't know if you can see the height on this, but pretty steep valley down in there. I think at some point we're gonna end up crossing kind of over it and around the other side. We'll have to see here in a minute. Got a small clearing in the woods here. It looks like they almost cut some trees down so that this could be cleared. Path just took me right up on this tree here. Like literally right beside it. Oh, we have an ant. Hello, Mr. Ant. It is a weird one. I was kind of concerned my vision was getting weird there for a second because it's cloudy out today and the sun went under a cloud and everything got like multiple shades darker for a minute. So I was like, why is everything getting darker? But thankfully, just realized there it goes again. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it just got significantly darker because the sun keeps popping in and out of those clouds up there. So yeah, it's got to be cognizant of that. I think it might be Queen Anne's lace about to bloom. Could be wrong. Another dedication bench here with a wreath. This is Zachary B. Pearson. Going across our second tiny bridge of the trip. There's a tree out here, and it is. Try and show this to you. You can see how it branches out into like almost 6 different trees from one massive tree trunk. It is wild looking. I just saw what looks like a dragonfly with a stinger. Anyways, yeah, this tree is massive. Looks like we have the pawpaw plant here, the pawpaw tree. If this helps for tree size, but that is a large tree. Another view of this massive tree. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it just got significantly darker again. Sun went back under a cloud. It's really wild looking when it does that. That combined with the headache is not the best experience. Anyways, just keep moving. We're almost back. Got an odd amount of little rocks right here as compared to the rest of the trail. Haven't seen that many rocks in one spot. I saw them in one spot, but those were very much in the ground. Those look like they were like placed for maybe erosion or something. I don't know. Check out this vine right on the ground. Wild. So, don't know if you can see the difference now. The sun just came back out as opposed to when it was dark. Really is a different vibe. With the sunlight out, everything seems so bright, and then when it goes under, it's just like, it's a tiny bit creepy. But yeah, not too bad. Looks like we're getting into a clearing up here. I think we're out of the deeper wood section. Looks like we're heading back into the sunny meadow section. Let's see. Yep, still Hank's Trail. Down there's a nice view of the valley. From this side, we were just on the other side of the valley there. It's got all these yellow flowers all over up here. Ooh, and a lot of bees. A lot of flowers. There's a bee. There it goes. All right, I think we're getting close to the entrance here. There's another sign, Hank's Trail. Got a butterfly moth looking thing here. Oh, there he goes. Don't know if I got him on camera. Check out this leaf. It looks like it has like been eaten by something. Almost looks like a cobweb. Oh, you know what? It's been eaten by caterpillars. I can see them on this leaf. Not sure if the camera will show them, but if you look kind of closely, you can see little lines moving back and forth. There's caterpillars eating this leaf. See all the little movement? That's the caterpillars. Got some trees falling over the trail here. Some vines coming down. Haven't seen any of those bright red berries in a while. I guess they must be out of season. This here looks like it might be meant for specifically for bikers. Maybe not. Maybe it's just there for when it's raining, but looks like a nice little obstacle. I've underestimated the distance of 1.5 miles through the woods. That's okay though. I think we're almost back. I gotta remember, 1.5 miles in the woods is, yep, hear that motorcycle? Definitely almost back. But yeah, 1.5 miles in the woods feels a little further than, ooh, bird. 1.5 miles in the woods feels a lot further than 1.5 miles just on a flat road. Anyways, decent workout, so that's nice. Get into the sunlight up here. Oh yeah, we're almost back out. There's the road right up there. Let's see. This one is a black walnut tree. Let's take a look. Now right up here's the road and where we parked. Whew, I'm getting that smell again. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's like a factory nearby or something that's letting off that scent. Unclear. Heading down the final section here. Right, and we're back at the entrance, so thanks, trail.